One of the most popular video game characters of all time in his third television series, once again fighting against the evil Dr. Robotnik's attempts to conquer the world and turn everyone into robot slaves. However, this time, not only would the revolution be televised, but you could sing along to it as well. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the history of Sonic Underground. Thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description below and use code TOYGALAXY for $5 off your order today. Morning is a bad time for making decisions. I just woke up. I'm not even sure this is the real world yet. 5 minutes ago, I thought I was sword fighting an octopus with a jetpack, and now I have to pick out what I'm eating for breakfast? Magic Spoon is there to save your day by making that decision easy. A breakfast that's quick to prepare, good for you, and reminds you of being a kid. The days when a duel against a sword-wielding octopus with a jetpack was a crucial topic of debate amongst your distinguished peers. Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving, just 140 calories. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee, so if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. And don't forget, Magic Spoon ships to Canada and the UK. Click the link below and use my code TOYGALAXY for $5 off your very own variety box, and choose from Magic Spoon's best-selling flavors like cocoa, peanut butter, and my favorite, fruity. That's magicspoon.com/TOYGALAXY to save $5 off your order today, and thanks again to Magic Spoon. Sonic Underground is an animated series that originally ran 1 season of 40 episodes from August to October of 1999 in the US. Based on the Sega video game character and franchise, it was the third attempt to bring Sonic to television, but the first to do it by integrating the power and potential profit of music.
Friday night, I'm thinking that
The once beautiful city of Mobotropolis is now Robotropolis, taken over by the evil Dr. Robotnik and his army of robots. A dictator supported by wealthy aristocrats untouched by oppression as long as they pay their bills on time. The remaining citizens are roboticized to be used as slaves in Robotnik's factories, with one exception. Queen Alina, the rightful ruler, has escaped. She's branded an outlaw and a bounty placed on her head. Her 3 newborn children represent the greatest threat to Robotnik and his power. Queen Alina has no choice but to secretly place the 3 infants, Sonic, Sonia, and Manic, with new families who will raise them as their own, unaware of their royal heritage. For it is foretold by the Oracle of Delphius that one day the 3 children will reunite with Queen Alina as the Council of 4 and overthrow Robotnik. Until then, Manic lives in the sewers where he learns how to do crime and also play the drums. Sonia lands with a wealthy family where piano is just one of her many skills. Sonic is raised by a blue-collar family that teaches him to love eating chili dogs and playing the guitar. Each child possesses a magic medallion that can manifest as a musical instrument, proof of their bloodline, their claim to the throne, and their relation to each other. Fate brings the 3 hedgehogs together to search for their mother and end the evil Robotnik's reign of terror once and for all by forming a band called Sonic Underground. Sonic the Hedgehog became a worldwide phenomenon after his introduction in 1991 for the still brand new Sega Genesis home video game system. After near total dominance by Nintendo's NES, Sonic and the Genesis began eating into their market share. In 1993, Sega followed Nintendo to television with 2 different animated series, a daily syndicated show called The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and a weekly series on Saturday mornings on ABC called Sonic the Hedgehog. Check out our video for more on that story. Of the 2 series, the ABC Saturday morning show, known by fans and industry insiders as Sat AM, remained the most popular with fans due to its continuing narrative and the more mature approach to storytelling. It was a world with chili dogs, yes, but also steaks. But even Sat AM was powerless against decisions made by ABC and its affiliates to frequently preempt it for sporting events. When Sat AM did air, it was up against the kids' television juggernaut Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Sat AM creators and fans alike did their best to lobby DiC to continue the story in some manner, whether in comics or feature films, but those efforts fell on deaf ears. DiC's ownership and corporate structure changed more than once between 1990 and 1995. New executives wanted to move on from the previous productions. In 1997, when Sega began production on their next generation system, the Sega Dreamcast, the next Sonic game, Sonic Adventure, DiC began production on the next Sonic animated series. Robbie London, DiC's executive producer on both the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sat AM, helped establish the direction for the new series. Instead of continuing with the previously established continuity of Sat AM, which ended on a cliffhanger, They intended to roll in some of the general elements but build the rest of the show from scratch as a vehicle for original music.
Gonna grab some afternoon delight.
Why music? As longtime Sonic writer and story editor Ben Hurst explained it, quote, because they could add songs and collect extra residuals from ASCAP BMI, the group that pays song royalties. Deke makes deals with songwriters to split or sign over the rights to their compositions exactly the same way that they force the writers and story editors to sign over all rights to their stories. All residual payments for cartoons go to Deke, even the royalties set aside for creative people in Europe. There have been legal battles about that through the Writers Guild, end quote.
Sonic Underground. Wanted for music. Wanted for laughs. Wanted for action. Sonic, his sister Sonia, and his brother Manic have a band. They're already in the top 10. In fact, they're #1 on Robotnik's most wanted list. Sonic Underground. Wanted for fun.
Sonic Underground, weekday mornings at 6 on WB20.
As in the previous series, Sonic would be squaring off against Dr. Robotnik and his army of robots threatening the peace of the planet Mobius. The innocent residents transformed into a mindless robot army to harvest resources, produce pollution, and expand their territory in every direction.
Just like the song says. What song? The one I'm making up, dude.
This time, however, Sonic would not only be a member of the royal family of Mobotropolis, but he would have a brother named Manic and a sister named Sonia. The music for the series is provided in-world by the band the Three Hedgehogs form with their royal, magical, amulet instruments. Love it or hate it, you gotta respect the commitment to the bit. Imagine? The Freedom Fighters are still there in name, if not in substance. Gone are familiar faces like Tails, Antoine Ant Depardieu, Princess Sally Acorn, and Bunny Rabbit. New to the series are the Oracle of Delphius, Robotnik's bounty hunters Sleet and Dingo, and fan favorite Knuckles with his pet dinosaur Chomps. Any resemblance to connective tissue from the previous series was added by some of the creators that returned from SAT-AM. While they didn't get to set the original terms for the series, they were responsible for the backbone and continuing narrative elements that survived through broadcast, including a mid-season 3-episode origin story. Writers Ben Hurst and Pat Ali joined the Underground team after it was already in production. Initially invited to pitch ideas on a promise of work for a few episodes, they were quickly promoted to story editors for the series. As Hurst told the story, quote, after they described the marvelous new direction, siblings, music, missing mother, stupid new characters, they ended the meeting. We were taken into another room with a story editor who told us he wanted us to write the pilot episode. We did. Sega read the episode, then the story editor was fired, and we were hired. End quote. There was a full team of writers, but you wouldn't have known it according to Hurst. The majority of the scripts were by rookies that had to be heavily rewritten to be used in production, and that work fell on Hurst and Ali. Work that, as story editors, they were expected to do without any additional compensation. If there was any silver lining to the extra work, having their hands on every script meant they could make every attempt to raise the standards for the show. They recruited Len Jansen, the story editor from SAT-AM, and as a group, willed Underground back towards SAT-AM's tone and sense of humor as much as Deke would allow. But the pace of production Deke set out made it virtually impossible to produce a show that maintained the level of quality they were hoping to replicate. Deke demanded 2 episodes a week, an unheard of schedule, to minimize costs and maximize profits. The result was a disjointed, inconsistent series that featured episodes that stopped halfway through to accommodate the music video interludes and, for the most part, could be viewed in any order. The music that was so integral to each episode and to Deke's overall business strategy for this series was composed by Mike Piccirillo. Piccirillo says he wasn't even composing over storyboards. In this case, it was just the script for the episode and an idea for what the narrative theme was. Ideally, one would tie to the other. Building a show around original songs wasn't a new strategy. Lots of shows did the same thing in the past, all the way back to the Alvin Show in 1961, the Archie Show in 1968, Josie and the Pussycats, Jem and the Holograms, and so many more. The musical cartoon genre was born as a reaction to the popularity of bands like the Beatles, the Monkees, and the Jackson 5, as well as parents groups complaining about violence in cartoons. Even in the 1960s and 70s, there were concerns about the long-term effect of even minor depiction of violence in programming intended for children under 10 years old. But mostly because musicals provided another revenue stream, especially if the production crafted something particularly catchy and were able to release that song as an individual track, as Filmation did with the Archies' Sugar Sugar, hitting #1 in 1969, selling 6 million albums. Each episode of Sonic Underground featured a new song performed in the show by the band Sonic Underground, featuring Sonic, Sonia, and Manic. There were 40 songs in total. Jaleel White normally voiced all three characters' speaking voices, but their singing voices were handled by Sam Vincent, Louise Valance, and Ty Lee Ross. The rest of the cast included Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog veteran Gary Chalk as Dr. Robotnik, Maurice LaMarche, known for his portrayal of Egon Spengler in Deeks the Real Ghostbusters, played the bounty hunter Sleet, Peter Wilds was his partner Dingo, Knuckles was played by Brian Drummond. Sonic Underground first aired in France in January of 1999. Bobot Entertainment acquired the rights for distribution in the US. The series landed on their Bobot Kids Network programming block in August. 40 episodes ran through October of that same year. In most cases, a daily syndicated cartoon series would have run 65 episodes, so some have speculated that perhaps there were either lost episodes or that the series was canceled before production could be completed. Not so, said story editor Ben Hurst, who's confirmed that they only intended to make 40 from the beginning. Chalk it up to another cost-saving measure. If you just gotta have Sonic Underground on physical media, you're in luck. End Circle Entertainment is releasing the entire series on DVD in July of 2023. As of this video, that's this month, that's this year. If you can't wait that long, you can rent or buy it on various streaming services or watch it for free on the Wild Brain YouTube channel. Sonic Underground was canceled after a single season of 40 episodes, which meant the mission to reunite the Hedgehog kids with their queen mother was never completed, despite the certainty of the Oracle of Delphius' prophecy, but that didn't necessarily mean the end for the storyline. Over a decade later, Ian Flynn was the writer of the then ongoing Sonic comic series. A longtime fan of Sonic turned pro working on the official comics saw an opportunity. If Deke and Sega didn't want to finish the story on television, maybe they could finish it in the comics. Flynn helped put the pieces in motion, culminating in an announcement at New York Comic Con 2012 that issue 50 of Sonic Universe was going to feature an official epilogue to the long-canceled Sonic Underground animated series. However, when the issue was actually released in March of 2013, it contained a story about Metal Sonic instead, with no official explanation as to why the epilogue had been canceled. It was hoped that the epilogue might be included in a collection of lost Sonic tales, but Flynn clarified that Sonic Underground was officially off-limits, never attempting to revisit that epilogue. 4 years later, in 2017, Archie Comics concluded its decades-long relationship with Sonic, a run recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the longest comic series based on a video game. The rights to Sonic landed at IDW, who still own the rights today. They've been publishing Sonic comics since the rights transfer, and as of this video, have yet to bring that story of Sonic Underground to a proper official conclusion, perhaps in the next 24 years. Sonic Underground delivered a Sonic the Hedgehog animated series unlike anything that had been featured in the franchise before, using business practices that had been in use for decades, an abbreviated chapter that, on the surface, seems like an aberration. You have to dig a little deeper to find the familiar heart just underground. We're doing this again. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, if you would like early access to the videos ad-free, as well as behind-the-scenes features, sneak peeks at upcoming projects, and exclusive monthly podcast about the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy and let us know in the comments down below if you were a fan of Sonic Underground or if this is the first you're hearing about it. I didn't have a lot of experience with it prior to working on this video, but now, look at me, I feel like an expert. It's still crazy to me that Sonic and Mario are technically on the same team now. For that first 10 or 15 years, it was such a bitter rivalry. Most kids didn't have an NES and a Genesis. You had to pick one or the other. You had to pledge your allegiance to the plumber or the hedgehog and defend their honor on the playground. Like so many things, that's a me problem, something I need to get over.
Cut.